Hi, friends, and welcome to Viral Vegas, where we chat with familiar faces in Las Vegas. I'm your host, Meredith Hall. On this episode, we have a guest who is not only not new to being in front of the camera, but you also might recognize her voice. It's crazy. I'm interviewing the interviewer who's interviewed just about every famous person in music. That was a lot of interviews. I want to bring in Mix 94.1 radio DJ and Las Vegas influencer, Heather Collins. Thank you so much for joining us, Heather.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me. I like the intro, the interviewer that interviewed her. That was a lot of interviews.
It was a lot of interviews. I wrote the script and then I was like, oh, that was a lot of interviews. I'll just acknowledge it. It's fine. But
The
let's
interviewer that.
let's just get started with
Okay.
giving us a little overview as to what you do, both on the radio and on social media.
So, a typical day for me is I wake up early and I actually record a show for Portland, Oregon. And then I sit in bed after I record that show for Portland, Oregon, and I sit here and edit TikToks and Instagram reels for a plethora of businesses around town. Once I'm done with that, I start to plan my day, whether it's out shooting for myself, shooting for clients, shooting for the radio station. And then after that, around 2 o'clock, I go into the radio station at Mix 94.1. Actually, 1 o'clock, now 1 o'clock, because I record a show for Wisconsin now at 1 o'clock. And then I start my radio show in Vegas at 2 o'clock. Then when I get off of work about 6 o'clock, I go to normally an event, a dinner, a concert, or something. So I am literally a 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day doing content of some sort, whether it's on the radio or on social media.
Do you have any time to do anything else? That sounds
No,
crazy.
no, my bug guy is coming this weekend to spray my house. And every time he comes, I'm like, I'm going to clean my house, I promise. Because I have no time to clean my house. Thank goodness, my mom helps me with my dogs, but like it's been nuts lately. I don't know why all of a sudden I've gotten really, really busy, but it's great because I like staying busy and I like staying creative.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, well, so let's just start from the beginning then, because you started with radio. How
Mhm.
did you get started in that? Was it always something that you wanted to do?
Absolutely not, actually. So what happened was when I was 12 years old, I went to see my favorite band, Matchbox 20. I actually wasn't even know that was gonna be my favorite band, but I went to the show, my first concert ever, and I was like, I'm obsessed with music. I think music is so cool. Look at all these happy people. The vibe just gave me all this feeling. So when I went to high school, the counselor was like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I was like, "I want to go on tour with bands." And she looked at me like, what? Like, I can't help you with that. There's no electives for on tour with bands. So she put me in theater, and I was the first freshman at Bonanza High School to be allowed into tech theater as the freshman year. So, which was kind of accomplishment to go all 4 years in tech theater. So I learned how to run the board. We just got a brand new theater in that school. And then when I left Bonanza, I went to college at the Art Institute, RIP Art Institute. Um, and I kind of dibble dabbled in everything. I learned how to have a radio station. I learned how to do on tour with bands. I learned how to make audio for movies. And the passion for audio just kept growing and growing in all aspects. And I think that's where I got good at editing videos because we had some video editing classes. So fast forward, I got invited by a friend, his name was Juan, to a Mix 94.1 Underground Lounge. I was 20 years old and it was Sarah Bareilles. And I was like, can I bring my camera with me? And he was like, yeah, for sure. Because I was also taking photography because I've always had a passion for photos and videos. So I went, I took my camera. They really liked my photos. And like, hey, we can't pay you. But if you want to come keep taking photos of bands, then yeah. And so the class that I was in, I needed a final year of the end project. So I thought, how cool would it be if I made a concert poster of all the bands that I've taken photos of in the last, 7, 8 months. So that was the goal in my head, was like, oh, I'm getting all these opportunities. Well, fast forward, the program director was like, you have a great voice. Do you want to be on the radio? And I was like, don't I have to go to school for that? And I'd always been a fan of Mix 94.1. You could find like pictures of me on like MySpace, Facebook, of like me 13 years old in my bedroom with a Mix 94.1 poster that I stole from Vital Las Vegas off the wall. So like, I've always been a fan of the radio station and the events they put on. So it kind of just was like a very full circle moment. And then it was very full circle when 3 years into radio, I got to meet Matchbox 20 and fulfill that dream. I cried like a little baby when I met them. But it's all been very full circle. It's all kind of, I have a lot of friends that are like, I don't know what I want to be grow up. And mine kind of just fell into my lap and I couldn't be more grateful.
That's amazing. I almost feel like, you manifested it with that 94.1, poster.
Probably. I even had like the MySpace Helio phone. And there's a picture of me like taking a picture in the mirror with this like MySpace phone. And I had a Mix 94.1 sticker on my phone.
Wow.
So yeah, I probably manifested it. That's actually pretty, I never even thought of it like that. I probably did.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you were born and raised here, right?
Yeah, I was.
So after building your career, I feel like you probably could have taken it anywhere. Why stay in Vegas?
That's funny you should say that because I feel like I've never, first off, who doesn't want to stay in Vegas? Like Vegas is the best
Fair.
city to live in. Every time I've ever visited anything, I was in Jamaica and I was like, I can't wait to go home. Like, I love Vegas. Vegas is just one of those cities that is forever growing, forever changing. There's always something new to do, whether it's a new restaurant, a new residency, concerts. Like, we are growing so fast that, like, I've had opportunities to go to different cities, but nothing has been so great or like, wow, that's a great opportunity. I have to go. Everything
Mhm.
is, I've been growing in Vegas for so long. It's like, once I stop growing, yeah, maybe I'll leave the situation. But until then, why would I? I always say this. I'm like, I own this city. Like I literally live and breathe this city. Maybe I don't own it, but I know everything in it. Like I know what's on, you know, Buffalo and what I can't even think of street names right now. Wow, that's terrible. Buffalo and Charleston and I know exactly what's on, Eastern and 215. Like I know where everything is, so why would I want to leave this easy life that I've created for myself?
Uh, so we talked about why you got into radio. We shift gears a little bit and talk about why'd you get into wanting to create social media content?
Okay, so I feel like I've been creating social media content way before social media influencers were like a thing on the internet, like doing what
There.
we're doing now. Because I was an influencer on the radio. Like I was promoting the crap out of what was that hair care product? Ovation Cell Therapy. Like I was doing commercials for that. And I would create little Instagram posts for that on Instagram. So when TikTok and Instagram became more of a thing, like with Reels, I already kind of knew the realm of like how to do it successfully. So when the pandemic hit and radio became not as fun because I wasn't doing concerts all the time and I wasn't doing events all the time, the next step was creating videos at home. And I had a couple friends that were owned businesses and they were struggling really hard to like survive during the pandemic. So I was like, well, I'll go make a video. I only have 10,000 followers, but I know a lot of them are in Vegas. So hopefully that will help you and your restaurant. So I kind of did that and those got a lot of traction. And then my biggest video was Meow Wolf. That was like where I started really taking it seriously because I grew 100,000 followers in like 2 weeks.
That's crazy. How many
Yeah,
likes or how many views did that video get?
3.5 million.
That's crazy.
And then I did another Meow Wolf video that got like another 1.2 million. So
Wow.
like it was definitely the pivotal point of me growing.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Again, I
sure.
fell into it. I just fell into it. I started
Yeah.
doing it for fun and then I made it a job. So
That's exactly what I did too. I downloaded TikTok in 2020, made some silly little TikToks, and now I'm making TikToks for the city. So I'm like, how did I even get here?
well, then you know firsthand how easy, like not easy it is, but like how much of a passion you can have behind it if you actually really like it.
Yeah.
So
And it's such a powerful tool, which
it
kind of
is.
transitions here a little bit, but like it it can be so powerful to not only influencers but just businesses. What do you think is the importance of influencers when it comes to small businesses?
Um, this is my thing. Whether it's a business running their own account or an influencer coming in and supporting your business, I think that especially for smaller companies that can't afford advertising so much, it's free advertisement.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
that's why it's important because you are being able to push out a message without putting money behind it. So I think that's why, like, I think that it's important for especially small businesses, especially if you have a business that you're just starting and you really have no idea what you're doing, start an Instagram, start a TikTok, start tagging influencers. Because I think at the end of the day, it's just about word of mouth and getting it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of your favorite places that you've been able to go create content in Las Vegas?
Ooh. Okay. My favorite experience ever that I did was shout out to MGM and Curvendoke for this. I was able to go experience a Raiders game. I've never been to a football game. And then they hooked me up with a dinner, and we also went to the tailgating thing. Um, and then I got hooked up with a room after. So it was really like a
Oh,
full experience of how you could see like what it's like if you came into Vegas for a game. And
mhm.
I thought it was really, really cool for someone to be like, okay, this is how you should do it. If you want to do like the creme de la creme of like a football experience, do it this way at MGM Properties. Cause like it was very flawless and very easy to navigate.
Yeah.
But some of the best TikToks or most fun TikToks I made one for JSX about flying from Vegas to LA and how easy that was. The Meow Wolf one really helped me take off. I've created a lot of stuff for Station Casinos. Station Casinos, shout them out because they really believed in us when no other casino believed in us. I feel like the other casinos are finally getting it together. Get it together, casinos. But they really believed in us and like would always like if I had an idea, I was always able to go to them and be like, I have this idea. Can we do it? And they'd be like, yes. And like they would support it 100%. I made the silliest TikTok. This is probably one of my favorite TikToks. And I said, what it's like winning $15,000 at the roulette table. And if it would have been real money, I would have won this money because I had a chip on 9 and they told me that it would have been $15,000. I was like, dang it. I wish it was real money. But I made this whole thing like what it's like, and the casino boss is mad, and like I got them to cash out the money at the gate or whatever, and then take me up to a penthouse suite. And so like it was a really fun like play on like what happens if you actually won in Vegas. So that was one thing that I really enjoyed doing. Sorry, I just rambled on. There's been a lot of cool things that I've been able to do thanks to social media.
Oh, it's totally cool. That I guess you'll just have to take like the consolation prize of the experience, not the 15 grand.
I know. I got to go jump on a really expensive bed in one of their high roller suites, so like I'm cool.
As a Las Vegas native, how is making Vegas content special to you? If it is.
You know, not to hate on any other creators in this town, but I feel like out of all of them, I feel like I have a special place in my heart for the city because I was born here. So when I see some creators making content that were not from here, I'm like, you're wrong, wrong. That's not true. That wasn't made here. So like I feel like it's really cool to showcase the city that like raised me on social media and show a side that maybe others don't see. There's one thing like there's food influencers, there's experience influencers. I kind of just like to show like things that people may not know about or things as a local that I've discovered that I'm like, wow, I didn't know this. Did you know this? Like I just took a tour of the Hoover Dam. Like
Mm.
it's like a Colorado River Hoover Dam tour. It is the coolest experience ever. You get in a pontoon boat, they take you down the Colorado River, you see all these cool artifacts. They still have like the pulley system from back in the day when they made the Hoover Dam. It's still hanging there. Like how old is that? That's got to be so old. I'm sure they told me. But like things like that where you just experience Vegas in a different way that you wouldn't know, even though that's technically on the Arizona side. But you wouldn't know unless like you found these cool TikToks. And those are the things that I really appreciate is being able to showcase my city from like a person born and raised.
Yeah, being able to share your city with anyone who might see that video, and it's cool.
Yeah. And
We kind of touched on your most viral videos, but the segment is called Viral Vegas. Have there been any times that you've gone viral and like it wasn't intentional at all, and you were kind of like, "What the heck?"
I tell you, I hate when I go viral on things that I put no effort into. I'm like, I put so much effort in that video and it only got 10,000 views. And then I'll put something up that it was like Bruno Mars performing inside the barber shop and it got freaking 4 million views. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I literally just took a video and I posted it just like this. And you know what's really funny about that Bruno Mars video? I posted it the night it happened. and it went nowhere. So I deleted it at 8 a.m. and reposted it, and it got me like almost 4 million views. And every news outlet asked me for that video. And I was like, go for it. I don't care. Just credit me.
You obviously are so successful doing multiple radio shows, doing all this Vegas content. What advice might you give to someone, maybe a young woman who's looking to get into either of those fields?
You know, like I said, all I did was I had a passion for both, and I didn't focus on a goal. I wasn't going to say, like, when I'm 30, I'm going to be XYZ at XYZ. I think when you put yourself and set yourself to a goal, like, I need 1 million followers, or I need to be this DJ on this station by 30, I think you almost set yourself up for failure. I think you just need to have a passion and work hard on that passion and do you. Don't sit here and copy someone. Do yourself. And then you will take off like that. If that's the best thing I've learned over the years, is stop putting so much pressure on myself. That's one piece of advice. The other piece of advice is ask questions. There was a girl who I met at shout out to, I think her name was Clara, I think. Oh, please God, make it be Clara. I was at Nothing Bundt Cakes picking up a cake, and she's like, "Are you Heather Collins from Mix 94.1?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Can I come take a tour of the station?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I feel like ask questions, bug people, because most of the time people are really nice and they'll be willing to like help you out. And especially me, for the fact that like I wouldn't be where I am if those people wouldn't have helped me out. Plain and simple. So like ask questions, make friends, talk to people. It's all about social networking, and just keep driving for what you believe in and do you and create your own content, because people will love you for being you. People can tell when someone's fake.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt all of that. That was great.
Thanks.
Is there, before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to add?
This is the best city in the world. I think you would agree to that. I think that I'm very happy to be born and raised from here. I remember when I was younger, people were like, "Oh God, you were born and raised in Vegas. You must have a terrible childhood." And I feel like when I hear other people's childhoods, I'm like, this is the greatest city to ever be raised in. I had hotel parties when I was 18 years old. Like, what are you talking about? I lived the life. And as the city grows, it's great to see. I remember when we got an IKEA, I'd never been more excited. I was like, we're officially a city. We got an IKEA. But I think that, thank you to everyone who watched. Thank you so much for everyone who follows me. Thank you for listening to me on the radio. I appreciate all of you. And I hope you appreciate the city as much as I have.
And we are the city. So just plug in us. Love that.
Oh, there you go. Just plug in Las Vegas on Las Vegas.
I love that. Literally. Oh, it's over here. City of Las Vegas. Alrighty. Well, thank you.
It is an honor, by the way, that City of Las Vegas cared about me enough to interview me, by the way. So thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I officially feel like I made it when City of Las Vegas noticed me.
I was like, we're mutuals. I can message her. She might message me back.
Oh, no, I will. Sometimes it takes me forever to read my DMs, but I do message people back.
Fair. All righty. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Heather. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Tune in next time where we will talk all things viral in Las Vegas. Are you a Las Vegas influencer? Have you gone viral in Vegas? Email me at mhall@lasvegasnevada.gov for your chance to be featured on our next episode. You can also find us at City of Las Vegas on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next interview with your favorite influencer.